program.
In this platform, I, Dr. Shamshun Nehar, Principal, Ranchi Women's College, welcome you all in this one-day national workshop on IPR, organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cells, Ranchi Women's College. Ranchi Women's College is one of the premier college of Jharkhand, and it is known for its excellence in teaching and other extracurricular activities. Growth and development is the motto of this college. That's why even in the peak time, the college has organized a number of extensive workshops, webinars, web lectures, etc. Today's workshop on intellectual property right is one such initiative, as IPR is in the syllabus of almost all the subjects at PG level. Understanding is must for teachers and research scholars as well. So, keeping the interest of students and research scholars in mind, this workshop has been organized. So, IPR, actually, intellectual property right is what? Intellectual property. So, intellectual property refers to intellectual creativity of a creator. In contrast to physical property, intellectual property is an intangible asset of a person. An intellectual property right or IPR are the exclusive rights given to the creators to their creations. In this digitalized world, there is a high risk of creative ideas getting stolen without the consent of the author. So IPR gives the security for intangible properties which are open to public and which can be quickly replicated by anyone. Common type of IPR are copyright, trademarks, patents, trade secret, etc. And IPR provides the incentive to the creator to develop his creation and to share it with other people for the development of the society. Though IPRs provide incentive to the author or the creator and lead to a competition in the field of invention, but it is also an intellectual protectionism or a form of a temporary monopoly enforced by the state. I know I won't go in detail as we have an expert over here to explain you this topic in a very good manner and give you a good insights into this topic. So I welcome Dr. Jitendra Ji Soni, Assistant Professor and HOD Geography Department, Government College Seeker, Rajasthan, in this workshop. I'm glad to find that a large number of students and teachers have joined the workshop. So welcome to all the students, researchers, and teachers present here. And congratulations to Dr. Shipra, convener of this program, and Dr. Smita, coordinator of this program, for organizing such an important and valuable workshop. At the end, I wish for the successful conduction of this program and hope that the workshop will prove to be highly beneficial for the participants. Thank you. Over to Shipra.
Thank you so much, madam, for opening this program formally. You've always been a source of inspiration, a source of encouragement and support to us. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, without wasting much of time, I think you've gone through the protocols of this workshop. I don't think so I need to repeat them. So now I would take this privilege to welcome our resource person, Dr. Jitendra D. Soni. Let me give a brief introduction of the resource person. Dr. Sonia is serving as an assistant professor and head of department, Government Arts College Sikar, Rajasthan. He has completed his master's, MPhil, and PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. He has also been a visiting scholar at University of North Texas, Texas, United States of America. He has been awarded with UGC JRF during his research, and he has also received research funding from Sussex University, United Kingdom, and a Welcome Award research funding from IUSSP France, a Data Collection Abroad Award from ICSSR New Delhi, and he has nearly 22 research papers and book chapters in reputed national and international journals and books to his credit. He has also completed a research project funded by ICSSR. He has presented more than 70 he has presented papers in more than 70 conferences in India and abroad. He's serving as a subject expert to few state public service commissions and school boards. He is also working as a member of Board of Studies EPMC and also a representative of NAC at SLQAC for Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Shekhavati University Sikar. And this list goes on and on. So we are really privileged and honored to have such a person with a huge list of achievements amidst us. So without wasting much of time, I would invite a resource person and hand over the session to you. We
Well,
welcome you, sir.
1 second. I'm sorry, Smita. I called
Uh,
Shipra's name. It was you actually. So sorry for this.
no issues, ma'am. No issues.
Yes.
Thank
Over to
you.
you, sir.
Thank you. First of all, I thanks Ranchi College for inviting me and giving me opportunity to interact with young minds. So I am without any delay. I just want to start my presentation now. Just wait a minute. I'm just opening my presentation. Is the presentation is visible to all of you?
No, sir, not now.
Not yet. Is it fine now?
Your presentation is not, we cannot see that. The whole screen is being shown, sir.
I'm trying to show the presentation.
Your entire screen is
I can,
visible,
I
not
can,
the presentation.
I can understand. I can understand. Just wait a minute. Something wrong is going on. I don't know why. Still, you are just seeing my screen only?
Yeah, sir, not the screen, only you we can see. And have you opened your presentation, sir?
Yeah, presentation is open. That is
Okay,
why
we are not able to see it.
I have opened the presentation, but still, not able to.
Uh, can you send it to Smita? She can present if she can, or
Yeah, I can send, but better if I'll
yeah,
share.
sure.
So
Okay, okay,
that is the only
okay.
concern. Just
Yeah,
just just a
we are
minute.
waiting. We are waiting. Take your time.
In the meantime, I'm sending this to Smita also. Just wait a minute. Can any technical person is there?
Yeah, Ali. Ali, can you listen? Ali, are you there? Yeah, now it is visible. Yeah, it's visible, sir. Now.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Sorry for delay. Uh, Very warm welcome, dear colleagues and students. Today we are going to talk about academic writing and intellectual property right related issues. See, before starting this presentation, first we will try to understand separately that what is academic writing and what we understand by intellectual property rights. And then we will try to integrate both of them. See, first, when we talk about the writings, there are generally two types of writing. One we categorize as popular writing. And popular writing, those includes various kinds of memoirs, autobiographical writings, and letters, emails, blogs, newspapers, and these all are circulated among the general people. And see, when we are talking about the popular writing, see, these are having some personal aspects, having some emotive issues related to this, and there is no a certain formal framework for writing all these. But when we talk about academic writing, it is a formal style of writing in a scholarly publications, right? So when we talk about the academic writing, then there is some set of rules also which we are trying to follow when we go for academic writing. Generally, we say that academic writings are concise, precise, focused, well structured, and based on evidences. So it is really very important that academic writings are based on evidences, and at the same time backed with evidences, and having a focus on the issue which we are dealing with. When we talk about the definition of academic writing, so here I'm quoting the definition of University of Leeds, UK, and this university defines academic writing as it is clear, concise, focused, structured, and backed up by evidence. So it is its purpose is to add the reader's understanding. So whatever issue which is we are dealing with, it must be very much clear so that it can improve the reader's understanding. It has a formal tone and style, but it is not complex and does not require the use of long sentences and complicated vocabulary. So many things are clear with this definition that what we mean by academic writing, but still, we are dividing this in subsections and trying to explain that. See, generally, academic writing is a systematic and a focused, writing where we have set questions for inquiry, because we have some sort of a research problem in our hand, and we make some questions for inquiry, and then after following a logical procedure, we are trying to answer those questions in logical manner. So in this entire format, we are trying to develop good understanding about the subject in hand. So the first thing is that it must be systematic and focused. The second thing is it must be well structured. So that means that the academic writing is presented in a coherent and precise manner with logical order, and there must be a well threading, in all the related materials and arguments. You see any thesis, you see any dissertation. Generally, what we find that we find a logical sequence in all the related materials and arguments which are present there. So that threading is very important, and that threading makes the document more logical, and it has to follow a certain sort of the structuring also. Then when we talk about verification, see, verification means that whatever we are this writing, that must be having some this credibility, reliability, validity. So for that, it must be supported by various opinions and arguments with evidences. So it is very much important, and that makes academic writing different from popular writing. So it must be having a backing with evidences and based on well-sourced extensive research. So the evidences itself, which we are putting in our research or in our academic writing, those must be taken from this reliable sources. So the entire research or the entire academic writing must be backed with extensive research and reputed sources. And lastly, when we can say that it must have a formal tone and style, and that means that in such writings we must use appropriate language, and the language that should make the write up in a very lucid manner, and at the same time it must be consistent and correct. So rather than using jargons, rather than using long sentences, rather than using a general essay type writing, we must follow a formal tone or a formal style when we are going for academic writing. See, there are many types of academic writing. So here I'm giving reference of the types of academic writing from the University of Sydney. So the University of Sydney, that gives four types of academic writings. First, that is descriptive. See, when we write introduction about any research article or say our dissertation or thesis, generally we follow this descriptive academic writing. So in this, the purpose is to provide the facts and information. So we are trying to arrange the facts and information which is available with us, and we are trying to introduce the subject in hand. So that is, there we follow the descriptive, this type of academic writing. When we talk about analytical, it is very much clear from the word itself that when we talk about the analytical, that means that we are, now trying to infer something from the data, and we are trying to analyze the data or information in hand. So it includes descriptive writing also. Along with the descriptive writing, it also requires to reorganize the facts and information. So whatever facts and information we have for our research or for our writing, we are trying to rearrange. We are trying to reconceptualize the facts and information in a new manner, and that reorganization is itself a part of data analysis. And then the third is persuasive. So all the features of analytical writings are there. That means it has the features of descriptive writing. It has the features of analytical writing. Along with that, we have some addition, of our own point of view. And that own point of view is not a crude generalization. It is a generalization based on data analysis. So that own point of view, when it is included in the writing, then we say that it is a persuasive kind of academic writing. Lastly, it is a critical writing. See, when we talk about the critical writing, that it has the features of persuasive writing, that means it has the features of all three types of academic writings which we talked about just now. So what else we include when we talk about the critical writing? Because when we talk about the critical writing, we are also adding some feature of at least one other point of view. That means when we have own point of view, and when we have own point of view with backed with some this authentic resources, that means that we are talking about the persuasive writing. But when we are adding one other point of view along with this, and that means here we are making the entire this piece of writing in a very critical manner. So these are the four types of academic writings. And each of these types of writing has specific language features as well as purposes. So when we are, going for any kind of research, when we are going for any kind of academic exercise, academic writing, we are trying to follow all these four types of academic writings. And now I'm giving you one example of empirical thesis here in the next slide. So in many academic texts, you'll need to use more than one type of academic writing, as we have seen also while we were having an idea about the various types of academic writing. Then we have used this the uses of those academic writings in different sections of the research. Here also we are talking about the same, and where we are saying that in an empirical thesis, we are using critical writing when we are doing the literature review. Because when we are going for the literature review and we are trying to understand or conceptualize the problem in hand, so in that case we are taking the various dimensions of the issue which we are dealing with. So in critical writing, during the literature review, we show that where there is a gap or the opportunity to add in the existing research or contribute in a new manner. So in that case, we are critically evaluating the entire document present in the public arena. So the document which is the documents which are already present, that means the literature which is available. When we are browsing the literature and when we are reviewing the literature, so that time we are very much critical, because our focus is to try to find out the gap and try to find out the opportunity to contribute in a new sense in the area of or in the subject which is in hand. So there, we follow the critical writing. See, when we talk about the methods section, that means research methods. So it is mostly descriptive, because largely what we are doing, whatever this methods and materials available, we are trying to first trying to search the most appropriate methods and materials for our research, and then what we are doing, we are trying to give a summary of that. So mostly it is descriptive when we are trying to summarize the methods used to collect and analyze the information in academic writing. So here we used to describe the methods for the data collection, for the sampling, and also we talk about the methods used for the data analysis, for the statistical analysis, for the statistical representation, for map making, and so on. And then, when we talk about the result section, so it is mostly descriptive and analytical, because when we are talking about results, we are talking about the reorganization of data which we are using. And in that reorganization, we are one side we are trying to describing the existing condition, and at the same time we are with playing with data in a new fashion. We are trying to analyze the problem in hand. So here we are using this descriptive as well as the analytical type of academic writing. When we talk about the discussion session, that is more analytical, because see, when we are discussing the entire this results, and when we are trying to establishing a connection of our research results with the existing research results which have been already published. So in that case, we are trying to relate findings back to research questions, one, and we are trying to relate our findings with the already researches which has been done in this field. So in both the cases, what we are doing, that we are more analytical in our approach, and also persuasive, as we proposed this interpretations for findings also. So in that case, we are using the persuasive academic writing. So these are the areas of a research document or an academic writing, where we are using almost all four types of academic writings. See, what should not be included in academic writing? So what should be avoided? The first, that is personal aspects. So that is very much used in popular writings. But when we are talking about the academic writings, we must avoid to put the personal aspects in the writing. The second is that the long winded stories. So we don't need that. In academic writing, it must be concise and precise. So we must avoid the long winded stories when we are going for the academic writing. And then we talk about the emotive aspects. See, there is no space for the emotive aspects in academic writing, because academic writings are always backed with evidences. So we don't have any space for emotive aspects there in academic writing. And then this is very important, that we must avoid baseless generalization, because in many times we see that researchers are giving a general statements without any backing, or without any proper source citation. So we must avoid that. In academic writing, we don't have any space for the baseless generalizations, right? So these are the things which must be avoided when we are talking about the academic writing. And after knowing this, we must give some, or we must throw some light on the characteristics of academic writing. And here we are talking about the characteristics given by the Glasgow Caledonian University. And that is, see, we are talking about here the 7 characteristics. One is the vocabulary choice. So you can develop a broader academic vocabulary when we are going for academic writing. Many times, in academic writings, you have seen that publishers or ask about the keywords. right? So see, it is the vocabulary choice, but your vocabulary must, suit your academic writing as per the subject which is in your hand. Then the caution which you have to take, that writers must be careful that not to make claims that are too strong. Generally, the sentences which are starting by maybe, or this can be, so must be avoided. Such things must be avoided. You must not make such strong claims when we are talking about the academic writing. Then impersonality. Always talk in third person. So don't use I, you, because see, such this the personal touch is not, accepted in academic writing. So with the exception of reflective writing, write in the third person. So that makes, this your writing impersonal. And then relevance. So you should only include the information that is very much relevant to the questions in hand. Because in academic writing, it is always concise and precise. So in that case, you don't have space for the information which is not directly related with the subject which is in your hand. So always be aware that you have to take care of the relevance of information which you are using for your academic writing. Then precision. This relates to formality. And formality means that use of the correct words and terms. Because see, if you will not use the terms and words carefully, then there must be a dilution in the message which you want to circulate in the academic this community. So it is very much needed that you must take care of the writing formality, because that makes your academic writing more precise. Then the consciousness. The consciousness means that in order to write within the limited this word counts, because see, if your writing is not concise, then in academic arena this is not accepted. You have seen, when many international national this conferences are inviting the research papers or research papers for publications, many times they ask for the abstract. Sometimes they are asking for an abstract which is within the word limit of say 150 words, 250 words, 300 words, 500 words. And sometimes they ask for the extensive or the elaborated this abstract. At the same time, in few cases the papers are also asked. So in that case, you have to have a focus on the word limit or the word counts. So when you are doing this in academic writing, it is very much needed that the conciseness issue must be taken care of. Because if you will not take care of this, then maybe your academic writing will not be considered for the publication or presentation. And then lastly, that is the grammatical complexity. So see, in academic writing, you don't need the grammatical complexity. You need a strong this ability to express your ideas in such a manner so that those can be easily circulated, or those can be easily understood by the research community, by the academic community. So in this context, the complexity refers to the grammar structures, not the difficulty of understanding an idea. So you must have a very simple and a lucid language where the masses can be easily circulated and this that can be understood by the research community. Now, after knowing about the academic writing, we are now talking about the intellectual property rights. And it is better to give the definition of intellectual property rights by given by WTO. Because see, this after the various gates round, when in 1995 this WTO came in existence, so it is a body now which which gives a clear idea about the intellectual property rights. So The intellectual property rights are the rights given to the persons over the creations of their minds. So that means these are the pieces which are, or these are the works which are author's own creation, or say person's own creation. So those can come under the preview of intellectual property rights. So they usually give the creator an exclusive right over the use of his or her creation for a certain period of time. And it is important to talk about certain period of time, because in academic writings, it can be the 50 years after the death. Then in some other areas, like in case of industry and all, this can be around 2 decades. So that the time frame that varies. See the types of IPR. When we talk about the types of IPR, there are various types. But when you see that this World Trade Organization itself divide it into two broad areas. The one is that copyright and rights related to copyright. And this is very important for the people who are in academics, and people who are going for academic writing. So when we talk about the copyright and the rights related to copyright, that means the rights of author of literary and artistic works. So both literary and artistic works. So this is including your articles, your books, your musical composition, painting, sculpture, computer programming, films, and so many things which are coming under the gamut of literary and artistic works. Then are protected by the copyright for a minimum period of 50 years after the death of the author. So these are the copyrights. Nobody can use your work. Nobody can use your own creation without your permission. Until and unless you this transfer the copyright to others, like to publishers, to composer, to producer, right? And also protected through the copyright and related rights are the rights of performance, that is actors, singers, and musicians, then producers and programmers, phonograms, and the broadcasting organization. So these are the areas in which the copyright issue is important. So many academic writings are falling under this only. So the social purpose of production of copyright and related rights is to encourage and reward the creative work. Because that is very important. Because any society, if the society will not have such mechanism, then there will not be a good environment for the creative work. And for any society to grow in a right direction, it is very much needed that the encouragement and reward mechanism must be there for the creative work. So this is a mechanism through which we are trying to ensure, or we are trying to protect the rights of authors or the rights of creators. See, when we are talking about the industrial property, that is the second category, and in case of industrial property, we have two main areas. One, that is, the area can be categorized as the production of distinctive signs, in particular trademarks. These patents are also falling here. So which distinguish the goods and or services of one undertaking from those of other undertakings. And the geographical indications are also there, and which identify a good as originating in a place where a given characteristics of a good is essentially attributable to its geographical origin. So see, the trademarks and the geographical indications, those are falling under this area, and the area which is dealing with production of distinctive signs. And the second is the other type of industrial property are protected primarily to stimulate innovation, design, and the creations of technology. And in this category fall inventions, various types of inventions, like this various types of patents are also there. So patents are coming under the industrial property, right? So here the industrial design, then the trade secrets, all are falling here. Invention, industrial design, and trade secrets, they are falling in this industrial property, where we try to protect primarily to stimulate the innovation, design, and technology. So now, after knowing a little bit about the intellectual property right, it is time when we talk about the IPR and academic writing. What is the relation between these two, and how the academic writing is protected by the intellectual property rights? So when we talk about the intellectual property rights, so those are the rights of the creators, crediting them for their original creations. So that is simply a mechanism, through which you are trying to credit to credit the creators, and that is having a legal binding under the intellectual property right regime. So the IPRs include the patents, copyrights, trademarks, service marks, geographical indications, certificates of origin, industrial design, etc. So when we talk about the academic writing here, so understanding the importance of IPR, especially copyrights and patents, is highly relevant for the academic authors, because these are the two which are very much important for we people when we are talking about the academic writing. And when we talk about the academic writing in science, technology, and engineering, and other side, when we talk about the academic writing in social science, humanities, literature, so these are the two broad areas. So in case of science, technology, engineering, and such domains, both the patents and copyrights are important. But when we talk about the social science, humanities, and literature, so it is expected that we must know about the copyrights. So in this entire this area of intellectual property rights, two things are important, or two types are important when we talk about the academic writing. One, that is the copyright, and the second, patents. So these are the two areas, where we must focus, because these are the areas which are directly related to the academic writing. See, while referring or intend to reproduce works of others, the authors need to have permission from its rights owners. And that is why that the copyright and patents are important, because whom to ask? Ask those peoples who are having copyright for that particular piece of writing, or who are having the patent for that particular invention. So when you try to refer this anybody's work, or you try to or you intend to reproduce the work of others, it is very much necessary to take permission of the creators. So reproducing the IPR protected content without a written or express permission, it is dangerous. It can lead to the legal consequences. It can lead to the financial consequences. It can lead to tarnish your academic image. So the academic authors need to give the credit to the creators of the original works by making a proper citation to the original work as a reference. So when you are giving a proper citation, that means you are not claiming that whatever you are reproducing, that is your own work. So that means you are giving a due credit to the creator. So here automatically the rights of the creators, the creator are protected. So in case the academic authors need to reproduce a part of already published, that is IPR protected work, they need to have permission from the copyright or from the patent holder. And who is the copyright or patent holder? He is the creator of that particular published work. So it is very much there that you can use already published work. You can reproduce the work of others, but it is very much necessary that you must have prior permission. And at the same time, when you are using, you must not use those as your own work. you need to give proper citation for this. And you know that when you are trying to reproducing the other's work as your own work, then it is very much this misconduct. So the reporting copyrighted works without express permissions and without proper citation also amounts to plagiarism, and which is in itself a scholarly misconduct. So if you are using the others' work, or you are trying to reproduce the work of others, so in that case, if you are not taking permission from the creator, that means you are this definitely amounting some sort of plagiarism. And see, now we will talk about the what is intellectual property. So the intellectual property refers to a document or an idea owned by authors, publishers, and corporations. So this can be document, this can be idea, and that document and idea is created or produced by some this authors. So those authors can claim that that is their intellectual property. So the intellectual property is anything that reflects an original thought that is written down or expressed in any media, such as the word process documents, the emails and websites, and music, and the published in any kind of research journal, books, etc. And simply put, what you create is your own intellectual property. So your creation is your intellectual property. The graphics, songs, poems, pictures, essays, those are few examples, of such properties that are owned by their own creators and are subjected to the international copyright laws. See, when we talk about the intellectual property resources, so first we talk about the copyright, and then we talk about the patents also, because these are the two intellectual property resources which we must know when because we all are having some relation with academic writing. So first we will try to understand that the copyright resources. The copyright is a form of protection provided by law to the authors of original works of authorship, including the literary, dramatic, musical, artistic, and certain other intellectual works. So that is copyright, and copyright, giving a protection to the creator who has created the work originally. That is copyright, and copyright protects the creator's ownership of intellectual property, because the creator that is having a sole claim on the intellectual property which he or she has created. So through the mechanism of copyright, we are giving a legal protection to the creators. And when others are using their work without informing them, without taking their permission, without citing their work, so that that falls under plagiarism. And the plagiarism that refers to the theft of someone's intellectual property. It is simply the theft of someone's intellectual property. That is plagiarism. So you can understand that what kind of legal, financial, and other consequences can be there when you are trying to using the other's work and claiming that work as your own work. The copyright laws allow the creator certain rights. First, reproduce the work in copies, such as books or CDs. So this right is with creator. This right is with the owner of intellectual property. He or she can reproduce the work in copies. He or she can go for printing various copies of books or CDs or any other the media through which he or she can distribute or can popularize his or her ideas. So that right is solely with the creator or with the author. Then the second thing, which this a creator enjoy, that is prepare a derivative work. Suppose you have written a book or a story or an essay, and if you are the only person who can create a play or a movie from that story. See, if somebody else is trying to do that, no, that will be considered as a violation of copyright. So when you will allow somebody, or you will transfer the rights to somebody, then only the others can go for derivative works without your permission. Nobody can use your writing for making a play or movie or drama or some other things without your permission. So you can also sell these rights, but you are the only person who will decide that you will create the derivative work, or you are going to sell your rights to others. The third thing which a creator enjoy under the copyright laws, that is distribute copies of your work to the public by sales or other methods. So it is your discretion, that you will sell the copies, or you will this give the copies without any cost. Whatever method you will follow, you'll give the hard copies or you'll sell the soft copies. Whatever decision you will take, you are free to take that, but you are the only person who have the distributive rights. When we talk about the patents, because see, it is very important, because the people who are belonging with science background, engineering, for them, along with copyrights, patents are also important. So a patent is a type of limited duration protection. It is very important to underline limited duration protection. So that can be used to protect the inventions and discoveries. Because see, if you have invented something or discovered something, so some for a definite period, you enjoy the protection rights for that particular this invention or the discovery. After that, this can be this open source in a public arena, but for a limited duration, you or the patent owner, that owner is having protection for his or her invention and discoveries. And such inventions and discoveries are generally new, and those are known obvious. That means having some a new dimension which is not discovered, or which is not invented by anybody till now. And thirdly, it must be useful, because see, if it is not useful, then there is no need to go for protection, because protection is needed when the invention or the discoveries are useful. So three aspects are important here when we talk about the patents of inventions and discoveries. The first thing is that the invention or discovery must be new. The second thing, it must be known obvious. And the third thing, that it must be useful. And include the new process, machine, article of manufacture, or the composition of matter. So all such things are falling under the production regime, and that is through patents. So here you can see that it is including process, it is including machine, it is including the article of manufacture, composition of matter, and so on. So in case of this patented property, others means other than the patent holder, are prevented by law from offering for sale, making the copies of this, or using the product. So it is very important in case of the patent this property. If you want to use the product, or if you want to make the product, or if you want to sell the product, you must have prior permission from the property owner. Because if you will not take the permission of the property owner, that means you are violating the intellectual property rights. So, in this way, we can see that how the knowledge about the intellectual property rights is very much needed for the people from the academic arena, because when we are going for the academic writing, when we are going for any kind of academic exercise like writing in front of you. So if I'm using any slide, which is prepared by somebody else or which is prepared by some other organizations, it is my duty to cite, that I have taken this source from this which place, from which source. So when I'm citing this, that means I'm not claiming that that is my own work. And if I'll not cite, and if I'll present it like it is my own work, or it is my own creation, that means I'm here violating the intellectual property rights. So in academics, in academic writings, we must be very careful, because see, if we will violate the copyright and the patent the issues, so in that case, we will fall under the jurisdiction of law, which are there for protecting copyrights and patents, and in that case, we can face severe consequences. We can face the legal consequences, fine this huge this fines, and as well as such practices are tarnishing the academic image of an individual also. So in this way, we can understand that the new emerging researchers, they must have a clear idea about the copyrights and patents, because when in future they will contribute in academic writings, they must be this cautious and careful about using the others' material. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative session and going through through topics like academic writing and intellectual property rights in such a clear and a clear manner, sir. So, since we have some time, I think there's Dr. Vinita Singh has a few queries, or rather, few observations. I think Vinita, ma'am, you can unmute your microphone and interact, please. Meanwhile, others can also put their queries in the message box.
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Soni for having made it so informative for us. Actually, it's not a question. Me coming from a social science background and everything, whatever you expressed, we have so many faculties like commerce and pure science, and then you talk of technology and industry people and engineering. That is why it set me thinking that the academic writing, as you were talking about, I was of the disagreement on your part that we'll all be writing in the same style. Second thing I have is the language issue. Because when you look on the internet, on the public domain, those people fall into plagiarism very easily, those who are working in the English language. Whereas what about the PhD thesis that are being written in Hindi? There's no check on that. As far as it's my personal opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. You could enlighten me on that.
Thank you, Vinita ma'am, for asking this question and this raising the query. The first thing that you have said that there is a disagreement on some academic writing styles. See, what I mentioned that there are 4 types of academic writing which we generally follow. That doesn't mean that we don't have any other this innovative ways to present our work in academic arena. But see, there are some general principles I talked about. So that is the only case. Yes. The second thing which you have said, that in case of the writings in English language, you can easily find out the plagiarism, right? But when you are using any other language, like when you are publishing your work, or submitting your PhD in Hindi or any other language, then it is difficult to identify the plagiarized content in that. See, basically plagiarism is based on the this similarity index. So that the similarity is easily to trace in English language. That is right. But see, now the new softwares are coming, which are trying to find out the plagiarized material in other languages also. So you are very much clear that yes, in case of the Hindi language, it is till now it is difficult to identify clearly the plagiarized content. But in coming future, this you will find a very good this anti-plagiarism softwares which will easily trace the plagiarized material in Hindi language also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir, for answering the queries. There's another query from Dr. Soma Roy. Dr. Soma Roy, you may please interact.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
And this is Dr. Soma Roy from Biotechnology. Actually, we have a core paper on this intellectual property right, and they put a lot of stress on this international organizations related to this intellectual property rights. So could you give us throw light on some of it?
See, take the example of geographic indications, right? It is very much difficult to prove, that this particular this article or this particular this goods having a proper claim for geographical indications, because there are a lot many politics are going on in this. You are very much clear, and you are very much correct here that when we claim for patents, or when we claim for copyrights, then sometimes it is very much difficult to get the patents, where the original work is your own. So that is, I'm very much aware about this, that at international platform lot many there's the things are going on, and it is really difficult for the people, especially from the developing world, to get the right kind of patents at right time. Because there are some lobbying, and some this pulling always going on all these such platforms. But we can see that in recent past there are good this lobbying from this developing pockets also. So in coming future we can this expect that there will be more fair practices on these lines. So I think.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now, since we are short of time, we won't be able to take more questions. Rest of the questions would be taken towards the end of the second session. So at present, we'll be taking a short break, a very short break of 15 minutes, and we'll be joining by 12:30. And we'll be also, as you know, we are streaming live on YouTube. So in case you're not able to join Google Meet, you may join the YouTube link as well. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for this informative session and for answering all the questions so clearly. So see you in the next session after 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you so much.
Thank you.
You so much.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ah,
And the participants are requested to keep their video cameras and microphones switched off.
Hello, Smita. Smita. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon, all of you. Should we start, Shipra ma'am?
Yeah, that is what I was saying.
Okay.
It's already going to be 12:40, so we should start. And if others are joining, so let them join later. Okay, you start.
Okay. Okay, welcome all of you again. Welcome, sir, Sony sir. So now we'll be beginning with the second session of this workshop. And I now request sir to please continue your presentation.
Thank you, Smita. Presentation is visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Very good afternoon again to all the organizers as well as participants. In the first session, we talked about academic writing and issues related to intellectual property rights. So it is an extension of that only when we are talking about the publication ethics. What ought to be followed in case of publication, and what we should avoid. So such things we will talk about in this session. See, when we talk about this ethics, first we should understand that what do we mean by research ethics. So these are the moral principles that guide researchers to conduct and report research without deception of or intention to harm the participants of the study or members of the society as a whole, whether knowingly or unknowingly. So uh, this is all about the research ethics. When you are going for any kind of research, right? Be it knowingly or unknowingly, you have to have follow this all the moral principles, and you must take care of all kind of deceptions or the intentions to harm the participants of the study. See, why the question of ethics is important in research. Because if we will understand this, then we will understand better what do we mean by publication ethics. So first, we should understand that why the question of ethics is there when we talk about research. Because see, when we talk about ethics, the research, or we have a code of this conduct for research. So that is very much in line with the research ethics. So that is to protect the study participants, and especially those which are vulnerable, like the sex workers, the AIDS victims, or say, so all other such kinds of people who are the research participants in particular kind of study. Protects the participants from various kinds of exploitation. That means if somebody is participating in your research, then you must ensure that they must enjoy the equal platform. Then there must not be any kind of exploitation. Then establish a risk benefit ratio. That means they must be benefited in the ratio at which they are going to take the risk. So it is very much important that the risk benefit ratio for the study subjects must be ensured. Then ensure the fair treatment for the study subjects. There must be a fair and open treatment with all. Then ensures the respect, dignity, and privacy of the study subjects. Then ensures the freedom of study subjects, because see, they are free to choose to participate in the research or not, and at any this point of time, they can quit from the study also. So what do we mean by ethics? So ethics, simply, it is a meaning term that the value or morality. So it is a special field of discipline that is science of morality. So ethics is the branch of philosophy and said to have been initiated by Aristotle, which takes human action as its subject matter. So this can mean the opinions about the human action, opinion about the right human action, right opinion about the human action, or all of these topics. So ultimately we are talking about that what to do, what not to do, what is morally correct and what is morally not correct. So that is something which we are talking about when we are talking about research. So this is a Greek word. the ethos means that custom or the convention which is in common practice, or the spirit of community. So the moral principle that govern a person's behavior or conducting of an activity, that is called ethics. It is a branch of philosophy, as we have already talked about, and that is dealing with the morality. See, when we talk about the research questions, then the research, when we talk about the ethics in research, so ethics, the issue is right from the beginning of the research. When a thought is coming in your mind about the area of research, from there only, we have the issues related to ethics. Then, after that, when we talk about the collection of information, data, then also, the question of research, question of ethics is there. Like the participants must have the voluntary participation. Then there must be informed consent. You must ensure that there is no harm. Then you must ensure that there will be privacy, this anonymity and confidentiality in your research. Then afterwards, when we talk about the publication or reporting of the research, then also the question of ethics is there. When we talk about giving credit of the entire work, then also the question of ethics is there, because the appropriate credit is given to all the stakeholders which have contributed in the research or not. And then when we talk about the issue of using or issue of reproducing the research, then also it is important, because that we talk in the area of plagiarism. See, the ethical principles in research, we can have two categories: one that is related to participants, and one that is related to researcher. And there are some, this common parts also. So these are the integrity, competence, this responsibility, and honesty. So these we seek at the part of researcher. And on the other side, that justice, dignity, privacy, confidentiality, all matters when we talk about the participants. And then there's known maleficence, then beneficence and autonomy. These are the issues, commonly shared by researchers and participants. We'll talk in detail in the coming slides on these issues. First, we should talk about four fundamental ethical principles here. And those fundamental principle which are this very common when we talk about the research ethics or the ethical issues in research practice. And the first is beneficence. That is the obligation to provide benefits and balance benefits against the risk. And that means that your participants or the subject of research must be rewarded accordingly, and there must be a balance between the risk and benefit. That is something fall under the preview of beneficence. So it is very much necessary that your study participants they must be rendered proper benefits in accordance with the risk which they are exposed to. The second thing, that is non-maleficence, that is the obligation to avoid the causation of harm. You must ensure that the participants are not going to face any sort of this harmful situations or conditions while they will participating in your research. Then respect for autonomy. It is always there, the obligation to respect for the decision-making capacities of autonomous persons. I mean, the people, they must have right to either participate in the research or simply not participating in the research, and at the same time they must have the autonomy to quit from the research conditions or the research situation anytime. And then fourth one is the justice, that is the obligations of fairness in distribution of risk and benefits. And that justice means that justice must be there at various, this forms, like justice in terms of, distributing the benefits of the research, or crediting the research, or a fair treatment with the participants and the subjects of the research. There are many these issues, which falls under the purview of research ethics, like the integrity of the researcher, respect for the participants, then rules for the research, regulations for the research, then justice for the participants, and for all stakeholders of the research, then dignity of the participants, confidentiality of the participants, this response, and then the competence of the researcher to deal with the research topic, then moral principles, like respect, dignity, autonomy, then ethical practices, then values, privacy, honesty, beneficence, autonomy, and non-maleficence. These are various, issues which are related to the research ethics. Very soon we are going to come on publication ethics. So the consequences for future research. Ethical issues are often difficult to define and harder still to work with. Yet, all research involves the ethical decision making. Because see, it is very much important now. Because see, if you are going for research, you must have some sort of idea about what you can do and what you cannot do, and in what fashion you are going to this proceed your research. So this may become relevant in the formulation of research questions, what you can ask, and what you must avoid, what can create a harmful situation for the subjects or for the participants. Then when sampling, gathering access to the data or research respondents, whilst collecting data, when analyzing data, or at the writing up stage, even when engaging with the audience or publishing the findings. So we can easily understand here that on each and every step of a research, you have some sort of this ethical issues to take care of. So the ethics here are centered on procedural issues, and especially on the principle of informed consent or maintaining the confidentiality. See, ethics in research in Indian scenario. There are 12 general principles which are listed here. That is, one is essentiality. That means it is essential to inform the participants about the research, to take their consent, and voluntariness, informed consent, and communicating this agreement while going for any research. You must ensure the non-exploitation. Then there must be privacy and confidentiality of the responses which you get from the participants. Then the precautions and risk minimization must be there, because your this study subject must not be exposed to the risk situations. Then professional competence must be there on the researcher part to deal with the issue which is in hand. Accountability and transparency on the part of the entire research group, which is this instrumental in conducting a particular research. Then maximization of public interest and distributive justice, because this must be the ultimate goal of research in any society, so that the society as a whole get benefit out of the research. Then institutional arrangement must be there to deal with all aspects of the research. Like there must be the ethical board, and now various universities are also having such boards. When a researcher is going for any research where the ethical issues are having related to a particular research, then the researcher must get permission, or must get this green signal from the ethical boards. Then publication domain also, the issues which we will talk in this presentation later. Then the totality of responsibility must be there, and at the same time, whatever promises you are going to make, there must be the compliance of the promises which you are listing down or which you are making. The major research misconducts which are there, that is fabrication. Because see, many times the researchers, they're making up data and results, and recording or reporting them that as the research outcomes. So this is falls under the category of fabrication. Then falsifications is also there, where the researchers are manipulating the research materials. The research is not accurately presented in the research record. Many times when our results are not matching with the popular research results, then what we are going to do, we are generally what we are doing, we are this following a practice of falsification. We are, I mean, most of the students so what they are doing, they are trying to manipulate the data so that they can match the findings with the findings of already this published research. And that is wrong, because sometimes when their findings when their finding is not matching with the existing the research findings, that means something new can come. But they are not this thinking on those lines. Rather, they are just manipulating the research material and trying to line up the research material with the existing the research findings. So that is a falsification. Then plagiarism, that is using the others material, using the others work, using the others idea as their own, without citing or without giving appropriate credit to the original author. So the research misconduct does not include the honest error or the differences of opinion. So the differences of opinion is very much important here. That is not a research misconduct. These are the few sites on which you can easily get the idea about the ethical guidelines. Now we are going to talk about the publication ethics, which is the core topic of today's this presentation. See, when we talk about the publication, what is publication? Publication is simply that you are putting your results, your arguments in the public domain, right? So publication is the dissemination of your findings to the scientific community. That is something which we call publication. So the scientific publications are subject to peer review, because you can easily see here, because I'm talking with the faculty and researchers. So we are writing papers and we are sending papers to journals. So those papers are going for a peer review, and many times we get feedback, we get rejections also with feedback, and sometimes our paper accepted also. So see, all these because the peer review, the people who are already having a knowledge in that particular area on which your paper is written, so that paper is generally sent to those people. So they just go through and they just try to check various aspects of of particular this research piece. So and then that is published. So this is a very genuine practice in scientific publication. So the publication, now I'm discussing with a definition given by Singhal and Khalra in 2021, and that is the publication of scientific paper is critical for modern science evolution and professional this advancement. So it is very much under this jurisdiction of publication misconduct. So while refraining from scientific misconduct or research frauds, authors should adhere to good publication practices. And when you will adhere to good publication practices, that means you are going to follow research ethics. So the history of scientific publication, we are just seeing in a brief that the roots of scholarly scientific this publishing can be traced way back in 1965 when Henry Oldenburg of British Royal Society established a journal that is a philosophical of research publications. The Committee on Publication Ethics, that is COPE, right? It is very much important when we are talking about this publication ethics. So the Committee on Publication Ethics, that is COPE, is an international forum for editors and publishers of peer-reviewed journals that provide the code of conduct and the best practices guidelines that define publication ethics. and advise editors on how to handle the cases of research publication and misconduct. So this is very important because this committee on publication ethics, they have formulated, they have designed code of conduct and the best practices guidelines for any researcher, or for those guidelines are also important for the people who are this in a panel of peer review, or people who are this in the editorial board. So why there is a need for publication ethics? This question is really important. Why we are talking about publication ethics? Because see, ethical standards for publication exist to ensure high quality scientific publications. One, that the second thing is that means this is simply this reducing or stopping the duplication. The second is the public trust in the scientific findings, right? When you are following the publication ethics, that means you are not going to fabricate, you are not going to go for the falsification practices, you are not going to use the others' work as your own. So if you will follow such this ethical principles, that means the public trust is ensured on the scientific findings, right? And that people receive the credit for their work and ideas, because it is very important that the right person must get the right credit for the publication. Because many times, like scholars who are working with PhD guides or working with some organization where the research is published with either as a first author, that is research guide, or say the high authority of the research organization, while the guide or the authority which is this put in as a first author, they are not basically this deserving being the first author, because the entire work is done by the students, or say the most of the work is done by the students. So in that case, the actual distribution of credit for the research is not done. So that is why publication ethics is really important, and it is really important for getting the trust of the scientific finding, and this ensuring the due credit to the people who are really working in the line of publication. Then the importance of research ethics, it is the collection of fundamental values, attitudes and norms considered by most of the population as essential for the personal life with one another, and the life in relation to the society's institution. So the ethical transgressions can be considered to be misconduct. And that is why time and again we are focusing on the publication ethics, where we must take care of all the fundamentals related to the research ethics. So the types of research misconduct, that is fabrication, falsification, we just talked about, then plagiarism, then probabilistic data presentation or analysis, then problematic data presentation and analysis, then failure to obtain the critical approval by the research ethics committee, that is ethical board, or to obtain the subject's informed consent. Then inappropriate claims of ownership of authorship is also one of the important type of research misconduct. Then duplicate publications. Once you have published the work, and again with some there's correction here and there, you are again publishing the same work. So that is the duplication of the publication, and thus undisclosed conflict of interest. So these are the types of research misconduct. So what is the consequence of research conduct? What are the negative implications of research misconduct? One, that is on society and humanity. The wrong procedures, false and fabricated data bring out products which may be considered unsafe for the humanity, because see, many times further research is also following the same line. So it is simply the waste of resources and waste of time, and this is a misguiding, or this is this giving a wrong direction to the research community So this is a very important issue, and that is having this bearing on the entire society and humanity. Then the fellow researchers, the published data and knowledge derived from the research misconduct will mislead the fellow researchers, and that will lead to the huge loss of money, funds, time, and reputations. Because once you have published something which is not there, so the fellow researchers will waste their time to simply this verifying the theory or the idea which you have established. The professional and the students, they suffer a lot due to the unethical research publications, right? Which may lead to the professional disaster for many, right? So because say the professional and students, when they are publishing, and if the things are this found with plagiarized contents more than the accepted limit, then it is having a various legal implications, then financial implications, then tarnishing the image of the researcher. Then the public trust and government policies, it may destroy the public trust on science. See, if the ethics are not followed by the researchers, then the people will not rely on the scientific findings. So in that case, that the scientific temperament of the whole society, coming under the question, and that may destroy the public trust on science. So that can be very disastrous for the entire this human society. So such false information and data may misguide the government also, because many times on the basis of research publications, the government is making various kinds of policies and programs. So if the research itself is not the sound and based on scientific principles, then the data and the policies based on or the programs based on these such publications will mislead the entire this government efforts and lead to implement some erroneous policies and laws. So the organizations which give recommendations and develop guidelines to assist authors, editors, and reviewers. There are many. COPE, we have seen one. So the purpose is to create and disseminate the accurate, clear, reproducible, unbiased research papers or the research outcomes. And these organizations, which are very important at international level, that is the International Committee on Medical Journals Editors, that is ICMJE. The next is WAME, that is WAME stands for World Association of Medical Editors, and the third one is Committee on Publication Ethics, COPE. We just talked about this. Right? So these are three international organizations which are important for this setting up guidelines for the research, good research practices. So the International Committee on Medical Journals and Editors, ICMJE. So this was established in 1978 in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and by a group of medical journal editors. So this ICMJ, what they are doing, they are developing recommendations which are primarily for the authors who want to submit their work in ICMJE member journals. So member journals means that there are this ICMJE having a list of journals, and all the journals, they are bound to follow the guidelines which are prepared by the International Committee of Medical Journals Editors. So that is why if you want to publish on any journal which is a member of ICMJE, you have to ensure that the particular guidelines established by the organization that you have followed. When you talk about the World Association of Medical Editors, then WAME, the WAME is a non-profit voluntary association established in 1995. And this was, again, established by the group of members of ICMJ itself. The main objective was to improve the editorial standards, promote professionalism in medical editing, and encourage the research on the principles and practices of medical editing. And the role of WAME is to facilitate worldwide cooperation and communication among the editors of the peer-reviewed medical journals. So this is something which is again very important. The membership of WAME is free, and all decision-making editors of peer-reviewed journals are eligible to join this. And you know, WAME this has more than this 1,830 members representing more than 1,000 journals from 92 countries. So you can understand the composition or the what we call it the international picture of the entire this association. Then the Committee on Publication Ethics scope. This was founded in 1997, the most recent one among all these three, by the small this number of UK medical editors as a self-help group to discuss the troubling ethical cases in the publication processes. So it provides the paid membership, and currently it has more than 7,000 members in various disciplines from all parts of the world. And simply the purpose of COPE is to find the practical ways to deal with the misconduct cases and to develop the codes of conduct for good publication ethics. So these three organizations, which we talked about just now, these three organizations are giving us guidelines, giving us a roadmap through which we can easily understand that when we are going for any scientific research, then what we should follow and what we should avoid. So in this way, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Why to publish, and most of the researchers are more into increasing the number of publications, but often the ethics of publications are not taken care of. So thank you so much, sir, for clearing up our doubts and for making us aware of several unknown facts on publication and research. Now we can take up questions. There's one question from Harshita Sinha. Are there specific ethical guidelines for conducting research online?
Just a minute. Who asked this question? Harshita.
Yeah.
Yes, Harshita. But even when you are conducting your survey by through emails, I haven't included this slide here in this publication, in this presentation, because this presentation was made only for the publication ethics. I have a separate presentation which talk about the research ethics only. So in that case, if you are going for even collecting online data, or you are publishing your work online, then also you are under the preview of publication ethics. So that is also falling under that is also under the jurisdiction of publication ethics only. So see, you are publishing online or offline, that doesn't matter. The thing is that you have to have follow the certain guidelines which we have mentioned in the presentation, because without that you cannot ensure the fairness of your research. You cannot ensure the scientific value of your research.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Many times you are asked not to include your own citation or to cite your own paper. But my question is that if I am doing some research which is a continuous research, so naturally when you present your latest research which is in relation to the previous one, in that condition you naturally cite that this particular defines up to this much and we carry forward from there to this. So what is the situation, like why it is like that?
Shipra,
so
I got your question, but see, this is not general practice. You can search the most this reputed publications anywhere, right? Even those which are coming right now, the people in particular field, we know some scientists for their particular field. When their new publications are coming, then their new publications are having this citation of their relevant publications. So this is very much accepted. The only thing which must take care of that is sometimes what the researchers are doing, they are using their own work or citing their own work, which sometimes are not appropriate for that particular piece of work. So in that case, they are just this raising the citation numbers. So so that is not a good practice. But otherwise, it is very much needed sometime, and it is very much accepted that if your new piece of work having some this logical relationship with the other published this work of your own only, then you must this cite your work, because sometimes the continuum of that work is making sense, when you are joining your new piece of work with your this earlier findings.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. One more question I have. Just now you explained various organizations which gives guideline for the editor and the accepted mode of publication, what it should be. Is there any other organization which deals with the IPR other than the WTO?
See, there are so many, because see, when you talk about the IPR under WTO, see,
Yeah.
WTO is giving us a general guidelines, but other than that, I think you must be knowing that various countries have their own IPR guidelines. Like US is having its own IPR guidelines. So the country specific guidelines are also there. Right. So it is not that the guidelines are only and only this given by the WTO. The country-specific guidelines by the WTO.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
This is
Good
Dr. Soma. You showed in your slide there's one topic called undisclosed conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Could you please explain it?
See, I'll give you a few examples. One example I gave, and I'm just this reproducing that. See, you are working with an organization, right? And you are working with a guide. There are two situations, right? In one situation, when you are working with your supervisor for a particular research, maybe PhD, maybe postdoctoral research, whatever it is. So in that case, you are this having some sort of research, and the major contribution in that particular piece of research is yours only. But when the issue of publication comes, then in certain this unbound conditions, you are bound to give first authorship to your guide, and ethically that is not correct. It is simply injustice, right? So it is uncovered conflict only. The second example I'll give you: you are working with a research organization, and you are given responsibility to conduct a research at a particular situation, and then after the conduction of the research, you came out with research outcomes. Your outcomes are not line up with the interest of the head of the organization. So in those situations, a conflict is arising, where your interest is to publish the genuine work, and the interest of the honor or the authority of the organization is something else. So sometimes you are bound to make some this adjustment, some falsification in your research, and that is not because of your interest. That is you are doing because of some sort of conflict you are facing, because that might lead to your this existence in that particular organization also. So see, such situations are not very much exposed. These are the uncovered conflicts which we can face while we go for various kinds of research. I have just given two examples. There are so many.
Thank you, sir. Nice.
Interact, Rohita?
Just a minute. I'll just
Yeah,
see
sure.
the
Sure.
chat box.
Sure, sure.
Smita, I
Rohit,
also have a query.
okay.
Good
Please.
afternoon, sir. I'm Rohita Vikash from the Department of Psychology, Ranchi Women's College.
Yeah.
Sir, this is an issue that I faced while I was trying for publication of one chapter in a book,
Mm-hmm.
the plagiarism software. Sir, I had
Yeah.
quoted few definitions given by the WHO, etc., and I had also cited about this definition in the reference part. Despite that, the plagiarism software inked those definitions as copied, and that increased the percentage of plagiarism. Later on, it was solved manually, I guess, and this was done from the reputed Aligarh Muslim University Medical College. So I just wanted you to highlight on this, and also what percentage of so-called plagiarism is allowed in the publication domain. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
Rohita, I got your question. See, when you talk about that, you have given a proper citation and use the this some definitions from the reputed organizations. That means from the authentic sources. But still, the publication, the plagiarism software, that ink those. See, it is very much normal, because the plagiarism software is giving the semantic index only, the similarity index only. So if that software finds anything which is very much similar and which is very much resembling from the already published material, then the software will ink that particular part. See, that is very much normal, and that is the work of plagiarism software only. But the thing is that when we are going for publication, a certain amount of the similarity is accepted, and that is, in most of the cases, it is 10% or below. So when we are using definitions, when we are using some codes, then fine, there is no problem. But the thing is that how much section of the entire research is covering by this, right? So when you are just strengthening your argument, or when you are lining up your research and using the work of others and citing properly, then it is fine. But in that case also, you have some sort of limits. Beyond that, you cannot do that. So that is there, because the plagiarism software is nothing but it is simply this matching your work with already published work. Right, and on the basis of that, that index is prepared, right? So, Rohita, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir, you did, but a little bit of understanding which I would want to gather from you is that supposedly, like, sir, in that issue, I took the data from the WHO, which was done on COVID. So, anyways, if you're working on any article which is based on COVID, you will pick up data from the resources and quote it. Even then, it was quoted as, I mean, not quoted, inked as plagiarism, and later on, it was managed manually, I guess, and it got published. But I just wanted to clarify this issue.
See,
But
the
I
thing
got a
is,
lot of information from you, sir. Thank you
I
for that.
I got your concern. See, when you are using data published by WHO, right, World Health Organization, right,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
regarding
Yes,
the
sir.
COVID, right? See, many of the people who are writing on secondary material, use this data, right? But see, the thing is that the only data that in a raw form, that can go in a nutshell. But when you are reorganizing the data in your own way, that means you are trying to come out with some new information from the existing data. That will be your novel work, and that cannot be this fall under the preview of plagiarism. The thing is that when lot many work has been done on the same particular data, then many a times the interpretation which we are doing independently, but still because the same set of data used by so many people and on more or less similar direction of researches are going on, then it is very much essential, because see, if you will give a table to the 500 students, a same table, and you ask them to interpret that, then if you will go through the 500 interpretations, you will find some sort of categorization in those 500 pieces of work, where you will find that similar category of similar type of interpretations are coming in few the sections. So that is very much common. And generally, when you are using raw data and reorganizing data in a new fashion on your own, and then interpreting that, then through this way you can avoid such problems, and you can use the data which are commonly used. But the only thing that is expected, that is try to rearrange the data in a new fashion to strengthen your argument. So this way you can avoid this.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for your explanation. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for addressing all the queries. Now,
See, still,
12 p.m. Yeah.
Smita, still we have time. See, because I haven't seen the watch. I was thinking that I'm this having shortage of time, and I cut short my presentation a little bit, and presented in a shorter time rather. So if there are questions, it is good. We will interact.
Yeah, sure.
Smita, if there is time, can I also can I add another query?
Yeah,
to
sure.
sir?
Please go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Sir, in these time, often books that are published, I see that it's been quoted that plagiarism is not editor's responsibility. So the authors are completely responsible for the plagiarism if they do at all, and whatever legalities that they have to face. So, so in that case, what work is left for the editor if that's not their responsibility to go through the author's chapters or whatever?
See,
it's just a query. I'm not trying to blame or
no. I understand. See, the thing is that there are some situations, when even the publication houses, they are trying to check the plagiarism, right? And when it is going for peer review, when then also the issue of this copying the material from other resources is taken care of, because the people who are reviewing the article, they are having a lot many experience in that particular field. And editors are also responsible for doing this. But for this avoiding the legal repercussions, simply for avoiding legal implications, number one. And number two, is that making the author more conscious about their own work. They are simply practicing this. Even the big publishing houses, they are also sometimes following this.
okay.
So this is simply, this rendering the responsibility of the work on the author itself, right?
Yeah, shifting the responsibility towards the author more.
Yeah. That is true.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
If anybody else wants to interact, may do so. We still have time.
I'll just like to ask one question, Smita.
Yeah, ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. Jitendra sir, I would like to ask, you named the organizations for checking all kind of plagiarism, etc., or the medical journals and all. Suppose we join that organization, what are the benefits of it?
See,
you said RAIM and ICMEJ, WTO, etc.
Yeah. See, the thing is that the organizations which I have listed,
Hmm.
See, those are the organizations which are working in the fields of establishing the research guidelines.
Right.
Research, this research ethics are also part of that,
Right.
right? So in they are not the organizations which are going to this do the plagiarism check of your work. The plagiarism check softwares are we all know that there is entirely this a separate this section.
Hmm.
We have hundreds of softwares
Yeah,
available
yeah, that I'm aware of.
in,
Right.
in the market, right? See, when we are becoming the member of those particular organizations, the benefit is what I expect, that you have directly access to so many journals,
Hmm.
because so many members are there, and
Okay.
the members of the organizations are having access to the journals, access to the publications, right? So in that way, this in many ways you can sharpen your skills, that
Hmm.
what should be taken care of, how you can avoid the plagiarism, what kind of, so
Okay.
indirectly you can be
Hmm.
benefited by many ways, but I don't think that they are going to this check the plagiarism for their members. I
No, no,
don't think.
that is a professional
Yeah,
service. People are
yeah.
checking plagiarism for some amount or something like that.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
I'm
Yes.
aware of. No, but
Yeah.
these benefits are also great, even if
Yeah.
they are indirect. They are pretty great benefits that one could take privilege of.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so
Welcome.
much. Thank you. Yeah.
Are there more queries? We still have time. You may interact with the resource person. Meanwhile, the feedback form, the link for the feedback have been shared. You may fill the feedback form as well. If there are no more queries, I think we may proceed.
Yeah, sure. We can.
Okay, now
I
I request our IQAC coordinator, Dr. Shipra Kumari, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Smita, and I hope Madam is also there. So formally, I ask her permission to kindly end the session and give the vote of thanks. Ma'am, I can you listen me?
Yeah, Shipra, you are
Yeah.
loud.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Um, myself, Dr. Shipra Kumari. I'm Associate Professor and IQSC Coordinator in Ranchi Women's College. On behalf of Ranchi Women's College and Internal Quality Assurance Cell of the college, I thank Dr. Jitendra D. Soni for giving us and enlightening our knowledge in this subject, that is in intellectual property right and publication ethics. So it was really wonderful listening you, and we have got so many information regarding this. But I feel still much more is there to there in this field. So we would like in future to again invite you and on different aspect of this intellectual property right and research ethics, publication ethics, etc. I'm really thankful for your wonderful presentation. Sir, in future also, we would like to listen from you. And next I thank our principal, Dr. Samshur Nihar ma'am, for her cooperation, for her guidance, and always inspiring us to do something and doing our best for the college and students and all these platforms. I thank all the participants, like our fellow colleagues, research scholars, and students for your patient hearing. And you were really wonderful audience who followed all the protocols of online listening. I really thank you. And Smita, को मैं सबसे लास्ट में और बहुत ज़्यादा थैंक्स देना चाहूँगी बिकॉज शी हैज़ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड ऑल द थिंग्स एंड शी इज़ द पर्सन हु कुड कनेक्ट अस विथ डॉक्टर जितेंद्र डी सोनी.
Can I take the opportunity to speak few words?
Yeah, sure, sir.
I'm really thankful to IQAC cell of Ranchi Women's College for organizing a national workshop on such an emerging issue. I am really thankful to pattern of this workshop, Dr. Shamshun Nehar, and the convener of this workshop, Dr. Shipra Kumari, and program coordinator, Dr. Smita Linda, to give me opportunity for interacting with the faculty members as well as the students of your reason. I'm really very happy, and in future also, whenever you people will give me the opportunity, I'll definitely serve this platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you all the participants for your patient listening. And thank you all the guests, our honorable principal, IQAC coordinator, for gracing this occasion, this program. So, with your permission, principal ma'am, should we end the program? Principal madam, can we end the program now? I think
She's
there's
already
a
given
mission.
permission.
Okay.
Yeah, she's already given permission once, so she must be busy with some work. So we assume that she has granted us permission.
Okay. So with this, we formally end this program. Thank you once again, sir, and we believe you will grace us in future too. It will be a privilege to have you again in our college. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much. I request all the participants to please fill up the feedback form and kindly give us some time to issue you certificates. You will definitely be issued certificates, but please give us time. So thank you once
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
Yeah.
Smita, notice I have to give. We have another program tomorrow in offline mode and in the college only, Matri Bhavan from 12 to 2. And it is an FDP program on this effective teaching. So we will tomorrow again, we'll meet there. Thank you. Yeah, Smita, over. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So with this, we end the program. Thank you so much.